At the end of the last episode, I arrive in Auckland. I'm expecting a pretty nice summer, but I hear from friends that it's been very rainy. I started some projects, such as making a rain tent. The tent is designed to collect rainwater, but I'll make another video about it in detail. This would turn out quite useful because this summer was indeed extremely rainy. But then it got much worse.
It was rain unlike anything we've ever seen before. A deluge that will go down in the record books as Auckland's wettest day ever.
I was actually away from the boat at the time. Back to Yeslets after being away on land. There have been record floods here in Auckland. The boat is still attached to the mooring, but the mooring has moved. We're meant to be over there. Heavy rains tonight, so I'm just going to sail over and park on the beach. Just noticed this. That must have been a log hitting it. You can see there's some damage to the rudder, to the skeg as well. It's meant to look like that. Like something scraped against me. Nothing serious on this side. The Pahi rudder design has a metal shaft that passes through a slot in the hull with a blade sandwiched around a tab welded to that shaft. That rests on a pintle supported by the skeg. My shaft is now badly bent to the back and the side, and the pintle and the bottom of the skeg are broken off and lost. I'm a member of a shared workshop in Auckland that has a variety of tools that wouldn't fit on my boat. So my first plan was to attempt to straighten the rudder. I didn't have very much luck with this, and none of the metal fabricators that I contacted responded to my email. And plus I didn't really like the rudder design. What I actually wanted was a whole new rudder design, like what the Ontong Java has. The Ontong Java has two Viking-like side rudders. And everything is above the waterline, so I could install this without a haul out. Considering this piece, I went shopping for wood at the local demolition recyclers. This is good, it's really durable. Hackland also has a few knowledgeable people who like to help. Thanks, Pete.
People don't realise that that's what these things are really good for. They're called restoring.
That's why it was giving you problems. Look at that.
Because there's nothing pinching on the blade, and the swarf is clearing the blade all the time. So you're not trying to drive into it, and that makes all the difference.
After a couple of days of gluing and grinding, I had some nice looking rudders. Day 3 of the new rudders. Putting a patch in there, extending this forward, that's where the rotella arm will attach. Fairly happy with the shape now. Then just as I was nearly finished, here comes Cyclone Gabby.
Brace yourselves for an unprecedented and dangerous weather event. That's the official word from the government as Cyclone Gabrielle begins to make its presence felt.
But this time I was in a much better position.
Cyclone Gabby. This is the difference that having a good spot makes. It was windier before when the wind was coming more east. Now we're sheltered by this whole hill. So I think I might change my ropes onto bigger trees. If I fix it now, I won't have to fix it in the dark because it's going to pick up tonight and tomorrow morning. If those trees completely fell over, my boat's pretty close. More likely just a branch falls off, but those trees look pretty well maintained and healthy.
It was extremely windy out there, but I didn't receive any damage except for a tear in my tent, so it was a good chance to catch up on some video editing. And then back to the rudder project. Next step was to install the lower mounts, but that's when I discovered the leak. And I bailed it out. There's more water there, but it hasn't. Yeah, that's definitely bad news. Just gonna try it so I can figure out where the leak is coming from. My bet is over here because it was the skeg that got hit, and that's the top of the skeg. I've got a leak. It's a very slow leak. I first discovered water in there yesterday at about, like in the early afternoon, so about 18 hours ago, and I bailed it out, and then this morning there was like a cup of water in there. So it's not going to sink the boat, but I should try and fix it. Okay, it's currently half an hour after low tide, so I think I'll go park it on the beach, and then I'll better look at it from the outside, probably scratch off some anti-foul, and then just put some fiberglass over whatever looks like is the leak and see if that stops it. That's obviously not the ideal fix that I'd do if I was going to haul out, but I think when you're cruising, sometimes you need to make an expedient repair, even if it creates a little bit more work later, better than sailing around with it leaking. There's a crack over here, but there's also something going wrong in there, and I think this part is just filler. That's wood, this is wood. That filler just smooths the joint. These cracks look like they've had water in there, so I can easily dig that away. This was about where the leak was coming from. There's water flowing out of there, which is a good sign. Means that I'm getting to the problem. I think there's a void there. That sounds solid. That sounds solid. The tide's come in now, so I'm going to go see if our band-aid has stopped the leak. Looks like no. So I have a new theory. The rudder got pulled off real hard and bent, but I had built this thing with this dynamo cord to hold it on, and that didn't break. You know, it's just this skinny little piece of plastic. That didn't break, the rudder bent. Massive steel tube. What if the wood around the dynamo, what if that was the thing? I wasn't sure there would be time for the epoxy to set in the cooler nighttime temperature, so I tried butyl tape. I also heated the tape on a gas burner to make it extra sticky. Okay, it's the morning, high tide, floating again. Let's have a look and check if our second band-aid has stopped anything. Wow, it worked, it's dry. Back to installing the rudder mounts. This meant even more crawling into the cave at the back of the boat. This took much longer than I thought it would, and I didn't have much enthusiasm for filming. And after that, I hadn't really thought about the tillers much, so I just improvised. Not really.
really that happy with it, but I'll give it a go.
By this point, I was getting pretty sick of fixing the boat and it was time to go sailing. I had various friends around the Hauraki Gulf that had been meaning to visit. I sailed to Waiheke Island and then to Great Barrier. This turned out to be a very good test of my new rudders. I also got in a bit of pro sailing, but you can watch my other video about that. I attempted to sail through a narrow channel against the wind and tide. I couldn't turn fast enough and I could see the rock coming and I had to jump off and push it away, but well, it was a pretty big scrape, a couple of scrapes. Then I got stuck on a tree. I cracked one of my new rudders. So yeah, I'm pretty disappointed with how badly this boat turns. Makes me seriously question if this is the right boat for me. I haven't had a good look at the rudder, the cracked rudder yet, but it's not broken off. It's just got a crack. I've got a feeling it's going to be quite repairable just with a bit of fiberglass. Maybe it looks bent, but that's just because of refraction.
Okay, now we're going to check the bilge, the leaks. Starboard guest cabin is good. I've got to unpack all of this junk. Dry. Last one on this hole. This is the one that had the leak before. There's a bit of condensation on the bottom of the wood. Probably because the wood had gotten wet and now it's evaporating. So this is dry as well. This one's dry. This one definitely needs to clean up. This is basically when things come into the galley and I don't need them, they kind of get chucked in here and forgotten about. So this is all my embarrassing secrets.
The scrape didn't actually look too bad. I used the halyard to bend the rudder, opening the cracks. Then I could squirt some epoxy in. Then I clamped it straight. The next day I wrapped that in fiberglass. And soon I was sailing again. But it wasn't long before Mishap struck once again. I was trying to sail into Nag Cove and I broached and broke a rudder. I couldn't turn around, so I dropped the anchor. The water as yet. It looks like we're not drifting towards those rocks. I've repaired the anchor, haven't set it yet. I expected I'd have to cut the anchor to move again, that beach, that would be fantastic. But better than wrecking the boat. Okay, I should probably call. I reluctantly decided the right thing was to ask for some help. I've never been quite this lost for words. Pan. This is a vessel in need of assistance.
This is sailing vessel Yes-Let's, 31 foot Warren catamaran, yellow, one person on board, a few hundred meters north of Motuhaku Island by Port Abercrombie. I've lost steerage. I dropped the anchor. I seem to be stationary. Quite no way to move, and a little bit worried with there's some quite big rocks just over there. But I think they're not quite downwind for me. I don't seem to be in immediate danger, but it could be. Yes, I've dropped the anchor and prepared a second anchor, but I haven't dropped it yet because I expect I'll probably have to cut the first one to get to move sunken ship. I would accept a tow. Just thought it'd be best to explain the situation before it got worse. Well, that was tremendous, a bit of a struggle to ask for help, but that's the right thing to do. People actually, they would rather rescue you than you die. So don't be a dick. Okay. So that's the rudder that didn't break last week. I think I can say this is a bad design. Yeah, that was crazy. I was coming in real hot. Yeah, so I was coming in pretty hot, and there would be these. I started surfing on waves, and then if a big gust comes, it puts a little weather helm on, you turn around as well. And basically both of these happened at once. I would surf, it was like crazy, and then basically broached. Yeah, it broke, it was a broach, and the rudder just snapped off.
Gabrielle, this is Spirit of New Zealand. We are en route to Port Abercrombie at the moment, and we are able to assist possibly with a tow without seatbelt once we get in there.
Looks like I'm going to get rescued by the Spirit of New Zealand. So I should tidy up a little bit now that I'm expecting guests. But then the New Zealand Navy also wanted to help me, and they outrank the Spirit of New Zealand. I did bring the old rudder with me, the one that's still good, and I could sail with that. I did sail across the harbour with that in light conditions. I don't know if it would have worked today in that thing, because definitely I was giving it a lot more helm than before. I could build a new thing with a welder and stock, but I probably need to haul out the boat to dry it out enough to glue it in. Since I know that bit's wet inside already. Or perhaps it's not time to figure out exactly how to fix it yet. Better just to enjoy the fact that my boat didn't get wrecked on the rocks. I asked the Navy if they wanted to be on my YouTube channel. Cool, okay. It'll be pretty... Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, no worries. Yeah. Cheers, thanks very much.
What's your YouTube channel?
Dominic Tar Sailing.
Okay.
Yep.
Dominic Tar Sailing.
That's right. Sailing, yeah. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, cool. I figured it was best if I sailed back in light conditions. And it happened that I had previously made myself a light airs sail from a large tarpaulin. So this seemed like a good time to get it all set up properly. Isn't it beautiful?
It actually worked amazingly well, despite costing less than $100. It was pretty much just a flat cut, but I did align the leech and foot along the fibres, with a slight curve cut into the luff. I figured the stretchiness of the material would handle the rest.
I've had no problems tacking with the new Code Zero, which is fantastic, because if you're going to sell engine, there's two things you really need: is good light air performance and reliable tacking. That's actually more important. Please give me a comment on your thoughts about the sail shape. The rocks that I was afraid would kill me the other day, not so scary today. It's just no substitute for good weather. Just recovered my anchor.
Pulling the anchor up from 36 metre deep water was not actually as hard as I thought it was going to be.
Polycarp sail has changed my life. Right now we're doing 4.5 knots and pretty light wind, less than 10 knots. The wind forward of the beam, do 100 miles a day like this.
I sailed back to Auckland without further incident.